Most of you on this panel either are in government office or hold a government position with two exceptions, and those of you, both others have. Based on your knowledge of the workings of government, if we have this universal background check, this phrase that we're using, universal background check, it has the net effect of creating a list of people who own guns. Whether you like it or not, that is a fact. It creates a list. Based on some of the missteps that government has taken in the past, and if someone were to come to power who were more forceful than the people who are in power now, had that list. Number one, can you see a potential for trouble with that list being in government possession? And number two is, based on past abuses, do you believe it's reasonable for the general population to have a problem with that list existing?
I'll take a shot.
I'd like that a quick answer from everybody, if you would.
Okay.
Okay, I'll start with a quick answer. And I've explained that I was a school teacher that had come to this because it hit me in the chest as an issue in the Army. But I've done a lot of study about it recently, and I have a big problem of somebody that is a criminal, or somebody that has a criminal background, or somebody that has a restraining order for domestic violence, or someone that has come here illegally, or someone that possibly is a terrorist, being able to purchase legally a firearm. I have a real problem with that. Well, in my classroom, I would ask you to raise your hand, so I'm going to ask the same thing here. And I'll also ask you to listen for a minute. And some of the issues that are the problems, that are the concerns have been brought up, and I know those are being hammered out, and I know that that's exactly why they have people like David give testimony, and people like Mentor Tully give testimony. And that's why they have staff to try to pick up that stuff, so be a part of that process. But let's try to get, right now we have a SIP, and so you had asked about the list. You're a SIP, in other words, we have a very porous system. However, you asked about the list, and I have right now, I have confidence in my government that people should be able to have a firearm, and that they should be able to purchase it legally and go through whatever process that is, and not be afraid that somewhere down the line that list will be used against them. So yes, I have, and I know some of you disagree with me, but I have confidence that I can buy a car, a sports car, a truck, etc., and have that listed somewhere and not have that used against me. I have confidence at this point.
But the second question was that, do you understand the reasonableness of the fear of people who don't believe it?
I can understand that there may be some people that feel that way, but right now I have confidence in our military and in our government.
Having worked 10 years with the federal government, I don't have much confidence in our government at all. I was a senior attorney at GS-14, and the stuff that happened you wouldn't believe. I spent days listening to undercover tapes of lizard buys going down. I'm dead serious. Lizard buys. You don't know what lizards can do to some guy's minds. We could talk about the perfect blue scales on his belly and whether they ate hamburger or mealyworms. And I'm sitting there as a GS-14 reviewing this. Anyway.
I'm not sure to answer the question. It's okay.
Okay, go ahead on the next one.
It's all right. Yes, absolutely. I can understand your fears. I understand that it's an imperfect system. I also really think that the status quo is not acceptable. So we have to find a way to fix the system, to gain the confidence in some sort of a system. We have to do something. We must start somewhere.
We did in 1934. I don't have that concern that the government's going to use that information. I don't think they're competent enough to use it in an effective way. You see how many of you have paid all your taxes, everyone? Has everybody paid all the taxes that they're supposed to have paid? Well, the government's probably not going to find out about it ever if you didn't. So I don't have any fear that the government's going to take your weapons away from you, and I don't think the conversation is leading in any constructive way here. You know, I can understand you may have that fear. You know, that one of your founders, the first president, signed into law in 1792 that every white male has to have a gun and they have to register with the local authority so that they know who has the gun. So when they call them up, they'll know who has what kind of weapon and what kind of experience they have. So it's, you know, a long history of this. This goes back to the NRA actually supporting a lot of these items across the time. But anyway, I can understand why you might have that fear. I don't share the fear.
As part of that government, I think that, you know, I'm not elected. I came up through the ranks, and when you talk about the fear of the government, the actions taken really reflect a lot on law enforcement and some of the occurrences that occurred. I can tell you now, I don't have that fear because I worked in there and I have so many times heard actions be misrepresented, misquoted, basically lied about. Do I sit here and say nothing goes wrong with government? Of course not. But there's lists already are out there. I don't share the fear. I understand your fear, and that's the one thing I love about this country. It is based on that. If you get enough people to vote in the way that you want, then you won't have that fear. That's what this country provides. It provides that voice, and that's an answer to the previous questions. What can we do to make sure that there's responsible legislation passed? Your vote does matter, and you will direct how things go based upon how you vote and if you get enough people to lead your way. And I don't have that fear of the government.
I understand the position, I understand the concern, I disagree with the concern. I don't have a problem with this. I believe it serves the greater good of the community as an enforcement mechanism for the law enforcement.